it.
Police are actually telling us to get back and behind the building right now.
Behind the building.
You're surrounded.
Yeah, they don't have this guy yet. There's no way.
An entire community watched in horror.
I need you to sit up and surrender to the officers. Do it now.
Oh, now they're bringing, yeah, here's the SWAT team right here.
As Boulder
And then I kept seeing them and seeing them and seeing them and seeing them and seeing them. And then we pulled over.
becomes the latest mass shooting site.
These ones are all sitting there, and then they had the other SWAT on the other side.
That's when I realized something horrible was going on.
Even the Aurora shooting close, and it freaked me out, but it still wasn't Boulder, right? This is Boulder, not only Boulder, but this is like my front yard.
It hits even closer to home for so many others.
And he shot twice in our direction. And I thought he was gonna shoot my son.
She was inside King Soopers when that shooter opened fire.
We were at the end and shots just started going off. And I said, that's a gun, and Nicholas hit the floor. And I ducked down and I just started listening for the direction. And he was heading towards us.
Now outside and safe.
I'm just glad that we're out. I'm just glad that we ran.
Reality sinks in that at least 10 others didn't make it.
And I just wanted to stop for the guy in the road, but he was too close, and I couldn't stop for him.
Grief, anxiety, and confusion as the people here now try to make sense of something that doesn't.
I can't wrap it. It's like I am trying to wrap it around my head, but I'm like in shock. I just can't believe this is happening.
It's traumatic, anger, fear, just a really deep sadness.
When you see the 10 names and the memorial in their honor, it can be tough to find the right words.
You will always be remembered.
And tough to find hope.
So we're bringing hope, and the light blue of the heart is the color that symbolizes hope.
A line of crosses, one for each victim.
And we didn't want to use them, but we pulled them out of storage, we put them together and brought them down last night.
Has become a gathering place to heal.
May I ask what brings you here today?
But when that's not enough, that's when the real work begins.
And they called us in, and here we are, our fuzzy little counselors.
Cubby and Devora are comfort dogs.
And this is sort of our backyard. We're from Fort Collins, so...
They travel to mass shootings all over the country to help survivors.
We almost stopped in here just before it all happened.
Even for a moment.
They're cute, they're not judgmental, they're good listeners.
But this is more than that.
Doing a great thing. Once they saw the dog, their emotions came out. And that's what we want to happen. We want them to release that pain, that suffering with these dogs.
They're a paw to hold and a shoulder to cry on.
I'm sorry for your loss. This is really hard to go through. You can give her a hug if you want. It'll help. Yeah. He's a good hugger. Yeah.
Doesn't make sense that it's here.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
With the hope that in a place with so much pain, there can be just a little joy, too.
And just look at them, it just melts my heart.
It's always the same excitement before starting. I think this is a moment why I do it, really.
We may not always see it, especially in an alleyway as grimy as this one.
How's it going?
But beauty surrounds us. The ordinary just waiting.
I see it as a community project
for someone to make it extraordinary.
Yeah, you'll see it appear in front of your eyes. All right, here we go.
Charlo Walterbach is an artist who does just that.
So usually like a 2-bay garage door would take me like 4 hours.
On a mission.
Just to share joy, to tell you the truth.
To make alleyways great again.
That's a much better motto than the last one I heard that was similar to that.
Garage doors are Walterbach's creative outlet, a blank canvas.
It's a lot of space that we're not paying attention to.
That started as a bit of a pandemic project.
I mean, we were all like in isolation, and I didn't know anybody around my house, really. So I wanted to engage with my neighbors in a safe way.
To learn how many garage doors he has since transformed into works of art, you need to immerse yourself in his work.
Yeah, this is the number 17.
Each garage door contains numbers.
The sailboat, it's meaningful to me, and it's kind of like my signature.
And words.
I put friends, which I think is also related to companionship. I feel like also coming out of this COVID time and coming into this new era, I feel like togetherness is really important.
Hidden symbols important not just to Charlo.
You want a clue? No.
But to those he paints for.
Yeah, I gave him a word. It was a couple hours ago, so now I'm going to have to find it. I don't see it off the top of my head, but I see words I really like, but I don't see my word yet. I'll find it.
I like trying words, shapes, and symbols, so that it creates this like visual blanket that you kind of have to engage to start exploring and discovering words and things in it, and that way you have a little like moment of joy, like, oh, I found something.
This garage door was a surprise birthday gift.
I just think it's fantastic. I mean, this was such a great surprise. I absolutely love it.
It's actually for anybody who can see it, so I like that. I like sharing joy through someone discovering something in one of my murals.
Joy in a place you might not expect.
Why not?
An ugly old alleyway transformed into a beautiful work of art.
This needs to happen in every alley in Denver, you know.
It's fun. That's why I do it, really.
We're beyond excited to host the 91st All-Star Game and All-Star Week celebration here in Denver, Colorado.
It is exciting.
I want to see some home runs.
So let's get this party started.
98 was great. I think this year is going to be better 2021, so I cannot wait.
I'm really excited to be here tonight. I feel like Denver is fortunate that we were able to get the All-Star Game after it left Georgia.
This is nice to see this. You know, it's great.
Just looking around here, there are a lot of people here representing their teams.
Go Rockies.
Shorter line, shorter wait time at the first base entry.
MLB is doing a great thing to promote the game, especially with the young kids, and it's nice to see these kids show up today and enjoy it.
I've been able to go to some food tents and go to the sponsor area.
It's so much fun.
It's real fun. I really enjoy the flyovers.
MLB All-Star Weekend, we're showing the city what's up. We're gonna let everybody know how Denver really is, man. So everyone have fun, stay safe.
So it's just exciting. There's just an energetic vibe. Who doesn't love baseball?
Oh, geez. Come. My name's Nathan Robb. All my friends call me Nate. Just wait for the big finish. Big finish. Woo! My stage name is Sir Propalot. I bring my speaker and I blast music and I dance around and make a fool of myself for everybody on the street. It's kind of a perfect gig. I never thought I would be able to do something like this and make money. I got laid off originally because restaurants closed. We opened back up. I came to give them some extra hands, and then with dine-in closing again, I got laid off again. I'm gonna be out here as long as I can for sure. I actually just a couple days ago got a text about coming back to work with dine-in reopening at restaurants, and I was like, you know what, like, this is way more satisfying for me, and I can rely on this way more than a gig at a restaurant. Woo! Thank you guys, thank you! Whoever said that playing red light, green light as a kid was never gonna come in handy. When I was a really little kid, I'd say probably about like 8 or 9 years old, I saw somebody playing with this prop called Poi at a music concert, and I was like, wow, this is amazing, like, I really want to do this. And as a kid, I was super intrigued by it, and then as the years went on, like, the obsession, like, turned into, like, a passion.
You getting out here?
Yeah. A lot of my friends come out here, and they talk about, like, the show, they talk about, like, oh, did you like the show? But for me, it's all about the interaction with people, like the smile that I bring on people's faces and the interactions that I get from people, like that's what keeps me out here and that's what keeps me coming out here.
At first, people were a little confused, like, what's going on here? But then after they see you, they're like, wow, this is amazing.
Last time. I usually juggle hula hoops, but I do other things like playing with stabs or different types of props. And this little moment, these 30, 45 seconds that we get to stand on stage and talk to people or perform for people, those little moments like that smile is gonna make someone's day. Woo! Now, while everybody's forced to think about the negative all the time, I think this is like kind of the most important time to do this.
It's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. You have a great weekend. It's so nice and refreshing to be able to have people tell me like, this is what made them smile that day, and like, this is what brightened up their day. Thank you guys. Thank you.
It's a popular trail.
Maybe it's the mountains. Maybe it's the sunshine.
Because the sun will take it out of you.
Or maybe it's just the Colorado spirit.
I think we got everything that you used.
Whatever it is.
This is the timber trail now?
Yep.
All right.
Trevor Hahn can't get enough.
And I'm a huge outdoor enthusiast.
And hiking.
Getting back into the backcountry where you don't see a soul.
That's his passion.
I just love to be on the top of a mountain because I can hear the expansive space around me. I can listen to birds, I can listen to the waterfall I hear right now in the background. So I actually have been legally blind since birth.
Oh, Poles?
Yeah.
He didn't lose his eyesight, though, until about 5 years ago.
I could only see basically light, no shapes really.
Trevor learned to adapt and kept climbing.
But it didn't really give me a purpose, like I was just following this bell, you know, like it'd be really cool if I could have a purpose like on the trail.
If he could have
It's gonna get really narrow.
a partner, perhaps.
He was telling me just about how he's been guided up mountains, like using a voice system, and I'm like, well, I have a voice. Hi.
Here's the thing, though.
So I was born with spina bifida. Spina bifida is when your spine forms outside of your skin.
It means Melanie Knecht can't walk, but it doesn't mean she can't hike.
Legs.
With a little help from Trevor's wife,
Oh my God!
Melanie sits in a specially designed harness, calling out commands.
And then another big one.
Oh, there we go.
And then to the right a little bit.
She uses his
I
legs.
feel like I'm almost trying to steer you with your shoulders.
That's all right.
Like a horse.
And he uses her eyes.
Good thing you can't kick your legs.
Whoa, horse.
Taking a little break here. I take breaks like this.
Like each other's missing puzzle piece.
We both serve a purpose on the trail, and you know, a huge responsibility, you know, to each other.
Oh, sorry.
What?
Quarter right.
Oh, here we go.
Veering off a little bit there.
That could have been life or death. That could have been life or death.
It's a friendship built on trust.
But it's this way?
No,
Or
to the
kind of, all right. Got it right there.
And held together.
And I'm like, oh my God, you have such trust in me already. And wow.
With nylon.
And I mean, it's the same deal. If he falls, I fall.
Which hasn't happened
Okay.
yet.
I'm a hot mess. It's fine.
Melanie and Trevor say they're not out to prove anything to anyone.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Have a good day.
Except themselves.
If you have a crazy idea, find another person that also agrees with that crazy idea, and then it's not crazy anymore. It's just an idea.
And this might be their not craziest one yet.
So we're gonna do one of the Colorado 14ers, 14,000 foot peaks.
I mean, who doesn't love mountains? Like,
The journey is a labor of love, and there's still a long road ahead.
Oh, that, okay.
An impossible dream.
How far do you think we have? 100 yards, do you think?
oh, I suck at measuring yards.
That just might be possible.
Yeah, right, you're just saying that.
With a little teamwork and a whole lot of laughs.
We're there.
Yay!
Ashley Michaels,
They say this trail is not accessible.
Fox 31.
Anyway, it's called My Sweet Wyoming Home.
Rhythm is all around us,
Kibe.
set to the sun, which keeps the beat for every life on Earth. As steady as it is, that rhythm is about to
All the
change.
shadows are growing longer now.
Yeah, in about a minute, it'll start to take a bite out of the sun.
A total solar eclipse in Casper, Wyoming.
Yep, yeah, there you go. You can just see a teeny tiny little piece.
It takes more than an hour for the moon to creep across the sun.
A dent, yeah, it's dented.
And whether you look with special glasses,
Just a little quarter of it.
or a giant telescope,
It is closing in on a series of sunspots.
you just have to look.
For me, this is the opportunity to see the handiwork of God.
Whatever you believe,
It's getting closer.
it's unbelievable.
Yes!
In the moments before totality,
We're not even at the best part.
when only a sliver of the sun remains,
It's like super tiny. It's like it feels like it's just like a few minutes away.
See that moon
Oh, it is really getting dark. Oh, wow.
You can feel Mother Nature.
That is it. Check it out.
Change her tune.
Wow. Yeah.
Day turns to night.
It's a black sun. Oh my gosh.
And when there are no words,
I'm shaking. I don't even know what to say.
Sometimes it's just better to watch.
Harmonica Man.
2.5 minutes that give way.
And it's cold too.
To a grand finale.
Whoa! Whoa! Take a picture of that, Mom! Take a picture of that!
The diamond ring.
That is incredible.
That kicks everything.
Oh my God, I'm just still tearing. It's so beautiful.
Last chance.
Back into rhythm.
Moon shining in the sky.
In Casper, Wyoming, Ashley Michaels.
Oh, that was crazy!
Fox 31.
It's a prairie lullaby, peaceful wind.
This is breaking news on Fox 31 Denver.
And we are following that breaking news.
Hundreds of people forced to flee their neighborhoods with very little notice.
Packed with cars as people were evacuated.
People don't know what's next and what they are going to be coming home to.
This is a story that's changed Colorado forever. A story that gripped our community as Mother Nature ran her course.
It was just hell on earth. What used to be heaven turned into sheer hell.
Might be able to get a perimeter there.
Because when people hear the fire is 100% contained, it's not over.
It's just the beginning for those who call this home.
Basically from Sea Lazy to Willow Creek Pass is just toast.
The town is still standing, though its scars run deep.
She asked, she said, do people still talking about it every day? And I'm like, oh yeah. It's like the #1 topic.
Sagebrush, a Grand Lake institution, is now the unofficial rendezvous point post-fire.
The one couple they were talking about, they live up by the golf course and their house survived, but it blew out all their windows.
The tables here,
You know, kind of crying on each other's shoulders because there was just so many people that lost their homes.
are the only ones some have left.
I think we lost about 380 homes, somewhere in that range.
The original house was actually over here.
She was home the night hers burned down.
I went out to the back porch and the roar that I heard, it was an audible, it sounded like a tornado and like a fire in a fireplace. It was the loudest. It was not wind, it was fire. It was the way that it sounds when it's coming through trees.
Her family got out. Her neighbors, Marilyn and Lyle, did not. There is so much to mourn here.
It's hard to find words for it. The tangle of the metal, the charred pieces. You start seeing the ruins of everything, every dish that's broken.
Except for a few odds and ends.
His tetherball, it's not even scorched.
Almost everything in Sun Valley Ranch is rubble.
Every time we came here last summer, we saw moose and deer, almost like a game trail. I don't know how long it'll be now.
As people here begin to pick up the pieces, though, it's exposing deep roots this community didn't realize it had.
But there were people hurting.
And now that we have nothing, our land is bare, our trees are down, the walls are down and the guard is down, and people who've never spoken to each other, we're now staying at each other's houses.
I know.
A silver lining, you could say.
Hey, Mike.
Hi.
How are you?
Among a sea of ash.
This used to be a beautiful forest all back in here.
He lost his house too. 3 months after he built it.
Yeah, probably the first 8 times I drove in here, I sobbed, and I spent my first night in my car. I just didn't want to leave. Yeah, it's devastating.
But
all right, it's time to get to work.
It's also time to move forward.
I always hate it when I have leftover parts, though. So I've gone out. I've got a bunch of wildflowers here, and today, I think on all 15 acres, I'm going to go around and see all these wildflowers.
And everybody's pitching in.
You got a lot to spread.
We're gonna go to the top of the hill with buckets, pass the bucket of seeds up and start at the top and spread it down and see if we can't make something beautiful or at least something that's going to help keep that hill from potentially tumbling down on us this spring.
It won't happen overnight.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. That's what it's all about.
But with the love these neighbors have for their land, Grand Lake will live on.
I mean, nature's resilient.
Ashley Michaels.
That's what we have to look forward to.
Fox 31. From tall brick walls to dingy green dumpsters, narrow back alleys, and shadowy sidewalks.
This is the first time I've ever done a mural or any type of project this big.
Denver's streets are dripping with urban swag. Murals of all shapes and sizes by artists from all walks of life.
Anybody doing public art, especially now, is standing on the shoulders of giants.
These guys.
It's roughly 30 to 35 feet high.
Tall or small, behind every mural, there's a message, a reason why it's there. And these larger-than-life portraits are no different.
So these are local graffiti artists that have passed away.
But the story behind this one is a picture that can't be painted because it's a shade of dark. Colors can't match.
Chris was born June 13, 1980, and that was the happiest day of my life.
A day that's now too tough to think about.
Sorry.
Christopher Gomez.
I ended up burying him 2 days after his birthday.
Was 37 years old.
I have good days, I have bad days. But when I come see him, I feel complete.
A loving father, brother, and son.
It's hard for me to come. I never thought I'd have to do this.
To his fans, though, he was Scape.
Like, you couldn't talk about Denver graffiti without bringing up his name.
Known for hitting big walls, trash cans, and train cars with his signature tag.
There's certain parts of Denver where you couldn't go like literally half a block without seeing something.
His brother Mike says art was his passion, even though the pieces he did were all illegal.
And he actually got caught right after this photo.
The two of them were always together.
Me and Chris were pretty much sidekicks. We were 3 years apart.
Even at the beginning of Chris's end.
He had suffered an ACL tear. I wasn't there with him.
A skateboarding accident back in 2001. Chris needed surgery to fix it.
That's when it all started.
And medicine to fix the pain.
They did give him a substantial amount of, I want to say it was Oxycontin at that point.
A routine painkiller that became a routine for Chris.
I remember him saying that he liked the way it made him feel. So after, months of him not needing it anymore, he still was taking it.
Months?
And when Oxy wasn't available, it was Percocet, it was Vicodin, it was other things to kind of cope.
Turned into years.
He was getting it on the streets.
The same streets where he painted, and the streets where he eventually found heroin too.
I can always tell when he was on it, because he would instantly turn into a zombie.
Chris became an addict.
I never thought I'd have to go through this with my son.
Because she went through it too.
I was doing cocaine. Okay. Then someone got me started on crack cocaine.
She eventually beat it.
I've been clean and sober 13 years.
And thought she could help Chris beat it too.
Because he wanted the help, but there's just no help out there, period. Unless you have money.
They say ridiculous amounts, $32,000, $8,000, $6,000.
I didn't have that kind of money.
In Colorado, around 80% of people who want help fighting an addiction can't get it because costs are too high and federal funding too low.
Mom, he goes, I don't want to die, I don't want to OD. He goes, I want to see my kids grow up.
They eventually found one program. They say it's the only one that would take him.
He was ready to go. He had his bags packed and everything.
He just had to make it through the weekend.
He came into my work and I happened to look up and he was walking out and he turned around and he winked at me. And that was the last time I seen my son.
Chris died May 29th of a heroin overdose.
And he was found in an alley on 29th and Curtis.
Just blocks from where he now watches over the same city streets that stole him.
I want his story out there because you guys need to look around and see all the people that are struggling with this addiction. It's a bad, bad epidemic.
560 Coloradans died from opioid overdose in 2017. Some are even buried right alongside Chris.
Chris, I love you, Angel, and I want you to rest peacefully. And Mom's gonna fight for you and fight for everybody else that is going through this problem.
When you see his grave and the memorials his fans have splashed across Denver's walls, it doesn't paint his whole picture.
He was much more than his addiction.
Those darkest details are missing because the message,
Like, he would always tell people to do better, like, you know, just push people to do better.
Chris's message, is meant to be brighter. Ashley Michaels, Fox 31.